The 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Statewide Lifetime Achievement Award recipient is Faith Bonecutter, MSW LCSW, recently retired as Clinical Associate Professor and the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Students at the University of Illinois Chicago, UIC Jane Addams College of Social Work after 35 years of service. She has over 30 years of full and part-time social work practice experience in service to families in social service, mental health, and child welfare settings. Her prior research and scholarship have focused on practice in kinship foster care. In addition to her administrative responsibilities as Associate Dean, she also taught in the MSW Generalist Practice sequence at the college and in the Child and Family Specialization. In her support of nomination of Faith, UIC Clinical Associate Professor Annette Johnson wrote, "Faith is a stellar servant leader who has contributed her entire professional career to elevating the profession of social work in all that she does. She has had tremendous impact on a myriad of entities, stretching far beyond the university and her community by making meaningful contributions to all that she has touched." Fellow colleague and Associate Professor Emeritus Dr. James Gleason also wrote, "Faith has lived her life and accomplished so much for the benefit of so many. Those of us who have worked with her understand how much she has contributed to the development of the social work profession, social work practice, and social work education, and ultimately to the lives of individuals and families." Congratulations, Faith. We're so happy to be able to celebrate with you on you receiving the 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Great.
So, Faith, tell us what this award means to you.
Well, thank you, Joel. And let me just put this down. First of all, I am deeply, deeply honored to receive this award. And I have to tell you that I'm not one who easily steps into the limelight, and I really prefer to be backstage, so to speak. So to be recognized with an award of such significance by my fellow social workers, and knowing that there are a lot of professionals, social workers who've made significant achievements and contributions to the profession and to the people that we serve, it's truly, truly humbling to receive this award.
Well, thank you, and thank you. Those are very, very thoughtful comments. So, Faith, what advice can you give to social workers during these very, very challenging times we are facing in our city, in the state, in our country? What advice can you give?
Ever challenging times indeed. During normal times, we all face and manage many challenges. And at this point in time, with the coronavirus pandemic and all the social and racial and economic disparities that have made even more visible the social, racial, economic disparities, and that have driven so much social unrest. We're all acutely aware of how powerfully this multidimensional public health crisis has impacted every aspect of our lives, professionally, personally, financially, mentally, and in many respects, more than ever, this is a time for social work and social workers. One piece of advice that I'd offer is to remind us to consider and practice strategies that build and balance us in ways that strengthen us to enter and remain engaged in the work that we must do. While we've all heard it before, that put your own oxygen mask on before you help others to put their mask on. Well, I strongly believe that we've got to take care of ourselves in order to be adequately equipped to take care of others. NASW, of course, is a great source of resources through the workshops, through webinars, through literature, through our connection with other professional social workers. And further, in my own experience, in addition to self-care practices, I draw strength from my efforts during times of difficulty while working alongside and witnessing the commitment of many of my colleagues. So while many of us are eager to enter the fray and do what we can, do what social workers do, you know, we help, we problem solve, we push for change. But given the enormity of these challenges, just know that you're not alone, work with others, and take time to acknowledge and celebrate those small, of course, large successes, but most especially take time to acknowledge and celebrate the small successes. Notice those small things, because that kind of fuels us gives us energy to continue to go along. So along those same lines, you know, stay connected with others in as many ways as you can, and can safely do that. But finally, in navigating these very unprecedented and uncertain times, we're bound to make mistakes, and others will also. So no matter what, no matter our best intentions and efforts, we're not always going to get it right. So it may seem trite, but we're all in this together, and it's important to just give grace to yourself and to others. That holds great promise for building and maintaining bridges and connections when we desperately need to be there for each other to get through these times.
The 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Statewide Social Worker of the Year awardee is Jude Hines, PhD, MSW, JD, LCSW, who is currently a school social worker for the School Association for Special Education in DuPage County, SASED, a special education cooperative in DuPage and West Cook counties. She works with students with a variety of disabilities, including deaf and hard of hearing and students in transition. Her doctoral research focus was examining associations between internalized heterosexism, outness, relationship satisfaction, and intimate partner violence in lesbian relationships. She has been actively involved with Youth Outlook, an agency that serves LGBTQ+ youth in the western suburbs for 16 years, the Open and Affirming Committee at her church, and she provides LCSW supervision. In support of her nomination of Jude, SASED Program Administrator Christine DiRienzo wrote, "Jude Hines has been a valuable member of our agency, and everyone who works with her has the opportunity to learn from her wisdom, experience, balance, and passion for our students. She's an excellent example of an outstanding social worker in her field." Fellow colleague Kirsten Schmidt also wrote, "I have had the honor and privilege to work with Jude over the last 10 years and am continually impressed by her dedication, knowledge, and advocacy work for individuals with disabilities and their families. Students respond and interact with Jude in a positive manner because she is an active listener, is very respectful, and approachable." Congratulations, Jude. Congratulations on receiving the 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Social Worker of the Year Award. We're so thrilled to be able to celebrate with you, at least virtually. So we wanted to have this time to briefly talk about what this award means to you.
Well, I'm completely flattered, and I'm very, very touched that somebody recommended me, and I was able to see the letters of, I had to ask people to write me letters, and then they were shared with me, and I am touched by the things that they said. And it reminded me that sometimes people are paying attention and they do notice. Sometimes I think social work is a little bit like parenting. You know, it's a thankless job sometimes, and you work really hard for other people. But this spoke to me that people do notice your hard work and what you're doing for other people. So, and I think that's true for all social workers. So not to sound like, you know, the Oscars, but I feel like this represents a lot of social workers that I work with in special ed. They're very special people, and people who are supporting LGBTQ youth. They're doing, you know, good hard work, and I'm very touched and honored that it was noticed.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What advice can you give to social workers during these very, very challenging times that we are going through right now as a state, as a country, as a world?
Yeah. I guess I want to say hang on by your fingernails. Sometimes I feel like that's what I'm doing. And I have been very discouraged. And I was mentioning actually to another group of social workers that depending on the election, like I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And, you know, I would even consider another country, but I know nobody else wants us. And she said to me, somebody in that group said to me, you have to stay and fight. You know, you have to stay and fight. And so I was rejuvenated by that comment. And so I would share that with everybody else. I think it's okay to acknowledge that we are tired and discouraged, but we have to stay and fight. And, you know, if we don't, who else will? But I think it's important during these very difficult times to advocate and keep in mind the most vulnerable, because right now so many people are vulnerable, but the most vulnerable now are even in a worse situation than ever. And so we have to keep mindful of them and to remember to advocate for them. And I think we have to maintain healthy boundaries. If we don't know how or when to turn off the phone or the computer or stop answering emails or assisting people, we're going to get burned out, and then you're not helpful to anybody and you can't stay in the profession. I see a lot of school social workers that are very close to being burnt out, and I just really encourage them to do a lot of self-care and to have healthy boundaries. We can't save everybody, you can't fix everybody, you can't save anyone if you're not in the profession anymore because you're burnt yourself out.
Right, thank you. The 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Statewide Emergency Leader Awardee is Karina Santamaria, MSW LCSW, Executive Director of Shelter, Inc., located in Arlington Heights, Illinois, which provides community-based emergency and longer-term housing for children and adolescents who are abused, neglected, dependent, or in need of supervision. She received her master's degree in social work from Dominican University, where she is also an adjunct instructor. Throughout her career, Karina has had a passion for working with youth involved with commercial sexual exploitation and working within the child welfare field for over 10 years. In support of her nomination of Karina, Shelter, Inc. Board President Leslie Carlson wrote, with the constant state budget challenges, child welfare regulations, Commission on Accreditation requirements, evolving donor expectations, and the highest volume of social service need, Karina pushes through and drives her team with passion and pride to help kids in need. I can't say enough about this amazing woman who transformed an agency and is now making even greater impact for our community and well beyond. Fellow colleague Sheila Yusuf Abramson, LCSW, also wrote, Karina is a born leader. I have never met another person with so much passion, professionalism, integrity, and genuine care and concern for those around her. I am so proud of all that she has accomplished and know that she will continue to be a proven leader in the field of social work, inspiring others and changing lives.
Congratulations, Karina, and on being the 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Statewide Emerging Leader Awardee. Karina Santa Maria, MSW, LCSW. So, Karina, what does this award mean to you?
Sure. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much, Joel, and also thank you to the National Associations of Social Workers Illinois chapter. This award really does mean a lot to me. It's so great to be represented for all of the work, but I do want to say that any of the work that has been done couldn't have been done without my wonderful team at Shelter Inc. So this is really for them. They have really made such strides throughout our agency and also work so hard in the child welfare field every day. So this really does represent all of their hard work. So thank you to my Shelter Inc. team.
Great, great. So Karina, what advice can you give to social workers during these incredibly challenging times we find ourselves in right now?
So I think one thing that I try to tell young social workers is my big phrase is keep that fire. Every day we are seeing something in the news that our clients are experiencing that is pretty devastating. And I do think that social workers in the next 5 to 10 years are going to play a huge role in everybody's recovery from not only the pandemic, but also the blatant racism that we're seeing within our country. So I do, keep that fire. This is hard work. We are in it for the long haul, but all of you are going to make a huge difference in the lives of the people that we serve.
The NASW Illinois Chapter Statewide Public Citizens of the Year Award is presented to a non-social worker who exemplifies the social work profession with outstanding service to individuals served by social workers, reflects the highest ethical standards in his or her field of endeavor, takes risk and enlists public support for improved human services, and advocates for and contributes to the public's awareness of social problems. The chapter's 2020 recipient of this award truly represents this. Amika Tenjaji is an organizer for and executive director of the Black Lives Matter Chicago chapter, and is also a mental health organizer for Southside Together Organizing for Power, as well as a co-founder and trainer at Ujima Medics, which trains community members on how to react in emergency situations like a gunshot wound or asthma attack. The Ujima Medics was established with the goal of creating knowledgeable, fast-acting community members who could use the urban emergency first response training in the case of emergency. One of her nominators, Kristen Rubelke, NASW Illinois board member at large, notes, with the COVID-19 crisis, the murder of George Floyd, and the expanding violence that has devastated the city of Chicago, Amika's expansive work remains vitally relevant to the health and well-being of the citizens of Chicago. Her work encompasses the values of social work practice. Congratulations, Amika Tenjaji, NASW Illinois Chapter's 2020 Public Citizen of the Year. I would like to thank the 2020 NASW Illinois Chapter Awards Committee for reviewing the many award nominations received from across the state this year. They include Diana Alejandro, Chair, Letitia Newsom, Jenna Pluckett, and Grisel Rodriguez Morales. The 2021 call for awards nominations will take place in the late spring of 2021. Please consider nominating a colleague at that time. Once again, congratulations to all of this year's awardees and enjoy the rest of the Ethics Conference.